It's said that in life and in truth, we scream in anger the loudest at our own demons. Hi, my name is Ian Antonio Pattison, and I am very happy to be finally presenting this episode 13 of Life is Feeling, Counting the Ways. This episode is not the gospel. It's a show. So like all the rest, you get to take from it what you will. Show notes, exclusive content, associated links, and fuller credentials available on the official show notes page at www.lifeisfeeling.com. In today's episode, we converse with none other than Kat, aka Keterakete, on life as an erotic model and a content creator for OnlyFans. Kat gracefully responds to hard-hitting questions, to be exact, 2. And in as much as any artist would do, throws a wry reply, a reflection, back at me and back at you. So then, without further ado, let's get to it. All right, my dear, now we're here. We've just done a nice photo shoot.
Yeah.
I think it was great.
Yes.
I'm a little surprised that you said yes. And I'm very honored to have had you here.
Thank you.
As a model. Yeah, I don't really have so many professional models here in my little studio, but you are one of the first.
Well, so I'm kind of honored too.
Thank you. I'm glad you feel that way. Life is Feeling is about real conversations, that was my phone, with real people on things that are a little less conservative, I would say.
Yes.
And I would say also things that are a little more interesting, pushing the envelope a little bit. And, I'm just going to say straight, it's not for everyone. It's also for a multilingual crowd. So we'll be jumping today without apology between German and English.
Okay.
Right? It's for multilingual people. Most of my listeners are in Germany. And, I think most of them can, also, wie wir auf Deutsch sagen, mithalten. Okay?
Yes.
So, if there's anything that, sometimes the topics are a little sensitive as well, where, you might not be able to express yourself in the clearest, most precise way in a foreign language.
Yeah.
I do the same with English. So if you feel like jumping into German to be precise, do that without apology. It's fine. Now, when I met you on the street, you were dressed in a very provocative way.
True.
Yes.
Some might say so.
Yes, some might say so. I liked it because as far as I'm concerned, it's a celebration. It is taking charge of your own story, so to speak, going out on the street. And I see it as a kind of a strength. Yeah. How did you feel that day? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I felt really hot.
So
I also had these signs in front of my nipples, in my see-through mesh bra, and the sign said hot as well. And I think I felt like that.
It said hot twice.
Yeah, it was hot.
Yes.
It was double hot.
Yes, it was double hot.
It was from coffee cup.
It was so nice. We had to name it twice.
Well, I guess I do have 2 boobs, so I kind of had to do that.
Okay, well, whatever the case is, I found it beautiful and as a celebration and a kind of, as I said, taking charge of your own story.
Yeah.
And that is why I came to you, because I had the feeling that you were, a level-headed kind of person. I didn't get the feeling that you were some kind of bubblehead, just going out there and then remembering, I should actually protect myself, So that way on the street and still making the decision to go out that way and then hiding yourself. You weren't doing that.
Yeah.
You were just bold.
Yeah.
And I appreciated it. That's why I thought that I could talk to you.
Yeah.
And you were feeling hot that day.
Yeah, I think so. Of course, if you wear something like this, you get a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I think I always like to dress up.
Mm-hmm.
Even back in my hometown where you get even more attention and the kind of attention where it's it becomes part of you. And I think what I always loved about Berlin is that like it doesn't matter how hard you try, you won't ever be the most extravagant person in the city, right? So like I just
That's what you think?
yeah.
Maybe you are.
I'm pretty sure I'm
I'm
not.
helping you to be that. Don't worry. I'm helping you to get there.
I don't want to. That's the thing, you know? I want to like blend in. I want to be a nobody. I love that about the city. It's like I don't have to even try, so I can stop. I can just let go and do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. That's to be honest, that's one of the, well, I'm not gonna say it's one of the reasons why I left my home, Jamaica,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still my home, and maybe one day I will go back. I've been
Yeah.
toying with that idea a lot recently. But one thing I do appreciate about Berlin is that you can be whatever it is you want to be. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, anything you want to be. If you want to be this way, there's a place for that. You
Yeah.
want to be that way, there's a
Totally.
place for that too.
Yeah.
And a crowd for it as well. People who will like you and accept you the way you are.
Yeah, you find your bubble and you're seen. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. Okay, I asked you how you felt on that day. How did you feel during our little photo shoot we just did?
So I'm quite low on energy today. So I think that influenced me. And there was another person that influenced me as well. So it was interesting to notice how my feeling changes when there's like another person in the room, kind of like another pair of eyes. So it's like I see myself from the outside more as well. But in general, I think I'm so used to being in front of the camera and like also being in front of the camera naked that it just like I just feel good. It's like the most natural thing to do for me.
Who is this other person you're talking about? Is it me?
No, there was a journalist in the room.
The journalist, yes.
The journalist.
He also made me feel a little bit uncomfortable, and when I heard the caliber of his workplace, I was very concerned. Yes, but he seemed like a nice guy, and I don't think
so,
he will do anything too bad.
I don't think so either. Like I think he seemed nice.
He seemed nice. And what's good is that we did it the right way. I was sure to do it really professionally.
Yeah.
That's how I always do it anyway, with the model release and explaining what it means and what you can expect and so on. Because I really don't know what the agenda of his storyline is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, for me personally, I wouldn't even say he made me feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed that it's a different feeling than if I'm in front of the camera by myself.
Yeah, or just with the photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was concerned because there's a kind of a connection that definitely happens between photographer and model.
Yeah.
And that connection is so strong sometimes that we can't post all of the photos. Sometimes there are moments, just a Bruchteil von einer Sekunde, that are so intimate that it's unfair to publish them.
Yeah.
Unless it's like in an exhibition, you don't want to give that to Instagram.
Yeah. You don't want to give shit to Instagram.
I don't want to give them anything really, but they reduce the value of my work and your work to the likes that they sell, and I don't really like that consolation. I much prefer inviting people who are interested to an exhibition or something.
For me, it's that I just can't post freely what I want to post. Like, they just take down my stuff. So
oh yeah, of course. Well, you are a little bit. You are a radical. You're a radical.
I'm like restraining myself, trying not to be.
It's fantastic because as I say, I see it as an expression of freedom. The same way I don't cut my hair.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing, and it's just sad that many more people don't see it that way. So I have great respect for you. So here in Germany, like these days, not just in Germany, but also in the States, we talk about strong women, And I mean, I grew up with a strong mother. I have two sisters. They were all strong people. My aunt was very close to me, all strong ladies.
Yeah.
And a good friend of mine, a very colorful, a very interesting person called Chester Francis Jackson in Jamaica, if he's listening. And he said to me once, I think it was about in 2000, he said to me, Ian, the Jamaican woman is already emancipated. The men just don't know it yet. That's true.
Yeah.
So, this whole idea of strong woman is nothing new to me. It's not an event.
Yeah.
It's nothing new.
Yeah.
Right? So all this hype about, strong and rare, it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's really nothing new, but it's new to see you stepping out in that kind of confidence in the crowd, and I could sense that you were, just natural, and I like that. You're natural in many ways.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, I don't know, it's also for me natural strength, I guess. Like, for me, it's normal too,
Yeah. All right. Just yesterday, you said to me that you are meeting with this guy who wants to interview you because you are on OnlyFans.
True.
Yeah. And this guy is from Süddeutsche Zeitung. And then it just was like, exploded in my head. Oh my God, what does that mean? What does that mean? Should I feel flattered? What he's going to do? What's he going to talk about? And so on. Anyway, I was a little bit geflashed. Yeah, so I took a minute and then I responded to you. And then I thought, okay, OnlyFans means that you are there doing tricks for people and people are paying you to see tricks.
What do you mean by tricks?
All sorts of things, with, I don't know, whatever, toys or candle wax or I don't know. But you corrected me, rightly so, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about you doing tricks for people.
No.
What is it?
I started doing OnlyFans because I had so many photo shoots and so many nude art photo shoots.
Mm-hmm.
So I had them all and I couldn't post them anywhere. So then a friend of mine was like, yeah, why don't you just go on OnlyFans, because there you can post uncensored pictures and you might get some money as well. And I was like, oh yeah, actually that's a sweet idea. So I started doing this and then it started to grow and to, it's going pretty well. And so I think that's what I mainly do, Of course, some selfies here and there, but mainly it's just like content from my photo shoots that I can post freely. I think a while ago I would have said, yeah, I do like a combination of sex work and just sharing my art. But because I did some custom requests and like some videos and like pictures and stuff, but it's not really where I have my passion. And I think it happened because like my surrounding and like society and men maybe they made me do it. Do you know what I mean? Like, not that they didn't force me, but just by what they saw within me and by them giving me the possibility of earning money through that, I was like, oh yeah, why actually not?
That's interesting.
You know what I mean?
It's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah.
Because as what I heard immediately was the men make you do it, but they make you do it because they're willing to pay for it.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, the demand for what it is you offer, your expression, I would say, is actually at fault. If there's a fault, if there's someone to blame, I don't think there's anyone to blame. But it's an interesting way to look at it.
I am also not, I'm clearly not blaming anyone. I'm just thinking like it wouldn't have happened out of myself. Like it wasn't anything where I was like, oh, it's exciting to get money for something like this, let's try out.
Yeah.
It was more like, oh yeah, that's a really easy way to make money. And then I was like, yeah, why not? And then I realized, oh no, it's so much work that I don't want to do. Like I just think it's exhausting, and then to have like men wanting this or that, and you're just like, whatever. Now I'm back to like just posting my pictures because that's what I like.
Yeah. But does it really get to that, them actually wanting something? Or is it, well, they want the images, they want to see, or they make advances.
I mean, they also like, so many people fetishize body hair. So it's like, they're like, this is so sexy. And then they have more fetishes. And then they're like, can I see you doing this and this? Like, that would be so hard.
Well, you just said body hair as well, and as you can see, I'm letting my hair out, my full glory. I also encourage people to to express their full glory.
Yeah.
And I see that also as a celebration of your fullness.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna put all of my imaginations out to the scrutiny and device of mass public media. I'm not going to do that, but I definitely did find that aspect of your expression appealing.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just nice because I mean what I wanted to call this episode was the oppression of the blade. The oppression of the blade. There's so many people I know, they feel pressured to, shave all the time and they have to look like babies. I'm like, yo, that's a little bit pedophile, Why force your partner to always look like that and to feel bad if she doesn't, But yeah, the oppression of the blade is a little bit rough, so I don't think I'll call it that.
We can change it in the post-production.
Of course. Anyway, I like that expression, and that was good. That was something that I appreciated. For anybody who's interested in having a look to see what the images are like, of course, they can visit you can visit the show notes page to have a look. I'll be definitely publishing one or two of the shots, but not all of them, of course, just a few select ones. And just in case you are curious.
Curious now, who's the person with the angel voice?
Yes, of course, the angel voice. Oh, yes, I did say that, yeah, and I do mean it. Yes, maybe it's because you have a cold.
Yeah, no, I do think I always sound like that.
You always have an angel voice?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, sometimes my nose sounds less blocked.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But I think the angelness about it stays.
Okay, well, I'm going to be a little playful right now. I'm sitting across from you, looking at you. We're here in Berlin, in my little studio. And I'm looking at you, and, you have a beautiful smile that you said you were going to hide when I spoke to you first, right? And, I'm calling you Angel, but did you know, according to legend, the devil is an angel too?
That makes a lot of sense to me. Actually, you know what? Actually, my phone number ends with the number 666.
Oh my God, that's gonna scare people.
And my Instagram also ends with the number 666.
Oh my God. Well, that is not my intention. I wasn't looking for 666, but it just kind of happened up on my table, up on my camera, and in my podcast studio.
But now they know that, like, even the devil is an angel too.
Yes, well, some people say was, but I think he or she
they
still have their wings.
I agree.
Yeah.
Life is Feeling Counting the Ways is an Antonio.media production, self-sponsored and independent. Show notes exclusives, associated links, feedback channels, and fuller credentials available on the official show notes pages at www.lifeisfeeling.com. I invite you to further explore the topical themes and, in your own sweet time, reflect on how all of these play out in our everyday lives. The show is freely available everywhere, and if you feel as if you got some value from this episode, the only thing I'd ask you to do is to share it with a friend. The shows are by people, for people. And if you're interested in contributing even more towards helping me to make it happen, in getting involved generally, or even yourself becoming a guest on the show, feel free to head on over to lifeisfeeling.com and check out the support link where I show you exactly how you can, among other things, simply share your thoughts, influence how the episodes evolve and unfold, or contact me directly. So then, without further ado, on with the show.
And then we come back to the beginning where people see what they want to see anyway.
Exactly. So, and I'm also to blame someone because I'm not immune to that, because when I heard OnlyFans, the first thing I thought was, oh my God, she's, as I said, doing tricks, with little things. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, what am I going to ask her? And the question that came to mind, now I know that you're just showing, expressive art.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are many levels of that. But one of the first questions that came to mind, and this is not something that you have to answer now, was when I thought that you were doing more for OnlyFans and not just images, I thought to myself, okay, what if I asked her what she thinks about the influence she has on the development of the sexuality of children?
Oh,
Yes.
how do I influence that at all with my OnlyFans?
I don't know.
But why are you asking that question?
I'm not really asking a question. It's the first question that
Yeah.
came to mind.
Okay. Yeah.
You
But
know?
why did that come to mind? Like, there's no children on my OnlyFans.
Okay, well, that's an answer in itself.
Yeah.
You know, because it's a hard question. And as I said, you know, if you're not prepared to go there, you know, you can. But that kind of expression definitely, if it does get to young minds, it can have an influence
Yeah.
on their development and their view of the world. I mean, I don't know which youngsters these days are not exposed to that kind of thing,
Yeah.
but there are people who would ask that question.
Yeah.
What do you think about it? You know, if you think at all,
Yeah.
if you think it doesn't, if you think it's out of reach, if you think it's not your responsibility.
Yeah. I think I have multiple thoughts. And like a similar, not exactly that, but like maybe a question connecting to that I asked myself some time ago. And it was more framed as like, yeah, what am I actually, how am I influencing our society, right, in our world by what I'm doing with my OnlyFans? And then it also came to mind, you know, I'm just reproducing. I'm reproducing the image of women that are sexualized. I'm deepening the belief that like women are buyable. So like, you know, someone sees me on Instagram and thinks I'm hot, and they know they just need to pay the right price to then see me naked, or like even do whatever, you know, they ask me to if I agree. And so I was like, okay, that's actually quite shit. But then I realized I'm sexualized anyways. And I do not believe that is going to change.
And you're not the only one.
No, we all are. And I don't believe that is going to change as long as I'm alive. Also probably not after, but like, you know, like for sure not in my lifetime. And I think by being myself and by living my strength, my natural strength, you know, I think I do influence a lot. And also, it's like I take the sexualization and I pay my rent with it, you know? So I'm also using it in a way that I think is quite, you know, it's helpful. Like I'm using what society puts on to me anyways. And for me, it's something supernatural to be naked. Like, yeah, now, like since I've experienced the club scene in Berlin and since I had more photo shoots and stuff, it became even more normal. So I also just don't see the hustle about it. You know, I'm like, okay, if everybody would find it more normal, then I obviously wouldn't make that much money with it anymore. But, you know, in the end, like I'm just sharing what is the most natural for me.
It's market forces.
Yeah.
Kind of. You know, I mean, it's very controversial, and thank you for answering that question. I think that was a good answer. It was unfair of me to even put that question to you because it was a question that I had when I thought that you did more extreme things.
Yeah.
But still, it is something that you've thought about. I think you answered it well. I mean, a lot of people are that way anyway. And since you are also talking about it being an expression of freedom, you know, freeing yourself from the oppression of the blade, zum Beispiel, and accepting yourself for who you are. You're doing this, I think, by your own free will. You're writing your own bills.
Yeah.
You're in control of your platform.
Yeah.
And I think that's a better way. But the first thing that people think of is, you know, probably some
person, and I'm sure there are people out there who are probably victimized and do not have the same control over that kind of expression. And that's the first thing most people think of. But I get the feeling that you're well in control.
Yeah.
And you're conscious about the decision you've made.
Definitely, but that's also because head-wise, I am not dependent on it. Even though financially I might, but I think I just don't let it come that close to me.
Okay.
And one more thing that also came to mind now. Women or like people that use OnlyFans more for sex work. And if there is, like underage, followers or fans, I don't think it's also really the responsibility of, or the fault of the sex workers, I do think it's a societal thing again, where like how we treat sexuality in society and how wie wir es tabuisieren.
Yes, I understand.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, if you create a taboo that shouldn't exist, it's also creating a kind of scarcity that's going to push the prices up somewhere.
Yeah.
So you're definitely not to blame.
Yeah.
Just to be clear on that, and there's a reason why this kind of business, again, to be clear, this is not exactly what you're doing. There's a reason why it's one of the oldest professions, who knows where it starts and where it ends, know? Yeah. Oh man, I cut in there. I'm sorry. I feel strongly about it,
Yeah.
I feel really strongly about it, and I feel bored with all the pretense sometimes. I find also that the people who pretend to be so pure, they're the biggest freaks. And these are the ones, it's because it's all penned up inside and it explodes, and then they create an excuse. Oh, I drank too much coke, that is why I ran out on the street naked. And so, oder my coffee was too strong, oder so ein Scheiß. I saw.
Yeah.
So there's so much pretentiousness.
Yeah.
And that
like
is why, for example, in America, Hypocrisy. Yeah, look at America. Yeah, America is they own the porn business.
Yeah.
But who is more holier than thou than the Americans? Not all the Americans, of course, but as they're, the Republican Party and so. Weißt du? Also, bestimmte Teile, ne?
Yeah.
They're very puritanistic in their how they present to the world, but I mean, they have the biggest stake in the porn business. That's what I find. That's what kind of I don't know, gets me a little bit
upset.
Aufgeregt so ein bisschen manchmal.
Ja, verstehe ich.
Yeah. All right. Well, you know what? Life is feeling is not just about the emotional side of it, but it's also about to feel is also a verb, which means to reach out and to try things out, to test things out, to express yourself as well. And I am honored that you decided to take part in this little conversation. I hope it brought something for those of us who are probably also contending with the idea of to what extent can I express myself fully? What am I allowed to do?
All of it.
Right? Whether it's a woman or whether it's a man, or something else, yeah?
Or
Anybody.
Someone else.
Someone else. Yes. Oh my God. Thank you for correcting me.
You're very welcome.
I'm so careful with that these days, But someone else, any person or entity who wants to express themselves in any way, they're free to do it as long as they do it respectfully.
Yeah.
And there's
I agree.
There's a purpose, Thank you. Okay, Kat, again, it was an honor having you here today for this little interview and for the wonderful photo shoot that we just did, even though there was a silent partner. Yes, that we didn't expect. Yes, hopefully he's a good boy, Mr. Süddeutsche Zeitung. Right? So, at this point, I just want to ask you one last question. Do you have any message for anyone? Was ist dein Botschaft jetzt? For anyone who's probably, I don't know, maybe they've moved to Berlin, maybe they're thinking of expressing themselves in a similar way, or maybe you have some warnings for them, things that they shouldn't do. What do you have to share to the world today?
So I think what is always good to keep in mind is to stay true to yourself, to actually sit down and find out who the fuck you are, because only then you can be true to yourself. Watch the surrounding you get in. Notice which people are actually doing good to you, and make sure you're around them, and then go for what you want. Like, believe in yourself, and then just achieve whatever you want, because I think you can. That's my message.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, there is at least a down-to-earthness about you that I noticed from just the way you walked through that flea market in Warschauer Straße. And it's still there. I still see that you think before you talk. You don't drink and you don't smoke. As far
I also don't take any other
and
substances.
You don't take any other substances, which is good. I mean, to each his own. But it's definitely a good way if you find yourself in colorful, interesting surroundings for anyone. Yeah, so that's a good example in itself, whoever is listening out there, right? So thanks again. And before we leave, I just want to ask to all the listeners, for all the listeners, wherever you are, where can we find you?
You can find me on the internet. You can find me on Instagram. My name is Keterakete 666. So Keterakete.
Okay.
And then 666. And then there you see like all the other links as well.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, I'm gonna be including that in the show notes anyway for anybody who's interested in checking out your work first on Instagram, or if you want to dig a little deeper, then of course there is a link to your OnlyFans, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks again, and I wish you a wonderful evening. Hopefully we do this again.
Same to you. Yes.
Is it still running? I hope so. Don't judge me. Look at my desktop. It's crazy. The makish that's gross.
I didn't even want to look.
You didn't even want to look. I should just shut the fuck up.
Maybe you fucking should.
That is why I need photography. I need photography because I have so much to say. And
non-verbally, you mean?
Yeah. I have too much to say. I need 2 languages. I need 3 languages. German, English, Jamaican. I need a podcast. I need photography. I need blogging. I need to teach.
And do you listen sometimes?
To what? To what people say? Today I was talking to myself. Not talking to myself. It's okay to talk to yourself. You can talk to yourself. You can answer yourself, but you can't take sides.
I mean, for a second, and then you can take
You can. All right, fine. You know what? All I'm saying is that today I was just saying that actually, if somebody asked me what the skill was for podcasting, is actually to listen. You have to listen. That's the biggest skill,
I think in any conversation, that's like what makes the conversation nice.
It makes it nice, and it makes it meaningful.
Yeah.
It makes it flow.
And makes you learn something new.
Exactly. Were you listening to me that day when I came to you and said, "May I take a picture of you?"
No, I ran away.
You didn't run away. You said yes.
So clearly I was listening.
Oh, okay, good. Fantastic. Well, I don't know. Maybe you heard something else.
I mean, you never know what you hear and what the other person says. You just think you know what they said, but then you only know what you heard.
Mm-hmm.
That's why actually a friend of mine recommended me like this thing from her therapist where it's called You Say I Hear. So that like in relationships it's really helpful if like you practice to check in and you always say, okay, you say and I hear, and then you say this and this and I hear this and this, and then you can check in about, okay, is what I hear you saying actually what you're saying, and is what I say I'm hearing what you want me to hear.
That is quite interesting.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the start of this conversation because, we were just in the dining room and we were talking to the journalist, and I am at the stage in my life now where I think that people will see and understand whatever they want to see and understand. There's a saying, people believe what they see, but there's another part to that, they see what they want to believe. So in many ways, it doesn't really matter
what you say.
Yeah.
The real artist finding out what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And then kind of, shaping your conversation, your story accordingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've stopped cutting my hair.
I think that's a great start.
I've stopped cutting my hair, yeah. And funnily also in the last interview that I did for Life is Feeling, there's a guy called Hamid. He has a fashion label and many stores in Berlin called Chapati.
Yeah.
And he said he had a hippie phase where his hair just grew by accident, he doesn't know it happened, just by itself it started growing, And,
That's what hair does, I guess.
Yeah, I know, but he cut it and it got really long. And that was the joke.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I'm at the top, in the top track, and you say something now.
I say something now.
You say something now.
I say something now.
Nochmal?
Nochmal? Nochmal.
That is the sound of the room. Weißt du?
Ja, I can hear it.
Und dann kann ich das rausnehmen. Nachher.
Okay.
Ja, Kitty ist auch da. Sie regt sich immer auf, wenn wir anfangen zu reden. Dann mache ich das so. Bisschen mehr. Okay. Alright. Now, wie gesagt, the questions I will ask you, you can always say, I'm not prepared to answer that question right now.
Yes.
And as I said before, if there is anything that you said or as well, okay, I will need about 3 weeks to process this.
Yeah.
Okay? So if there's anything you go home and you feel as if, ja, das sollte ich nicht gesagt haben oder so, du kannst es mir auch sagen.
Perfekt.
Okay?
Ja.
Und ich schneide das dann raus.
Sehr gut.
Okay?
Ja.
So.
Dankeschön.
Right, so let me just close this down. I'm going to move this over to here. There it is. You can see. This is me talking. The level is good. And let me see you talking.
Here is me talking.
Fantastic. Alright, so I'm going to stop it for a second. Don't say anything. So, wieder. Es läuft. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.